Free Alabama movement inside Alabama's Department of Corrections as we continue to profile the living conditions, the unconstitutionality of the way we confine, the unsanitariness inside the Department of Corrections, the overcrowdedness, and how those things are affecting men on a day-to-day basis. We also continue with our interview series as we document real-life stories of men inside the Department of Corrections. These are real stories. These are not urban novels. This is not fiction. This is the reality of being an African-American man or a poor white person inside the Department of Corrections. You know, we have no rights. We have no redress. We have no one to bring our grievances to, and yet we continue to strive and overcome. And it is because of these things that the Free Alabama movement was born. Today we're going to be profiling one of the men inside the Department of Corrections. His name is Divine. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself, where he's from, what incarceration has been like for him, and why he feels like it's important to stand up and make changes. So I'd like you to introduce yourself and just give a little brief background of who you are.
How y'all doing? My segment in this part right here going to be brief, but I hope that y'all feel where I'm coming from. They call me Divine. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I was given a 20-year sentence for a 10-year-old cold case. I feel really that I was captured and placed in this place. Now that I done got educated, I feel like it was a political movement that these people's getting paid off me. And I feel like it was unjust. My trial was unjust. The evidence against me was not up to par for me to be placed in here. But here I am. And now that I'm in here, I'm witnessing the living conditions. It's nothing like I was used to on the street. You know, I ain't gonna say I was a rich person on the street, but I was a person on the street that took care of myself. And my family took care of themselves. We were middle class. But now that I'm in here, I feel like I'm really in a dungeon. I understand people giving the wrong medication and die right afterwards. Not only that, the living conditions is so savage to the point where I sleep right next to a guy that I can roll over and touch. So whenever he's sick, I'm sick. And the food, my God, if I can only show y'all, it's not fit for human consumption. The meat is not real. It's full of bristles and a whole bunch of other stuff I wouldn't even show y'all.
We already got it. They already done seen it. We done showed them the food, and we been inside the kitchen. We done been behind the line. We done showed them how the food is prepared, food, all the food. They already done seen all these things. So, you know, you shed light from your personal perspective, but believe me, Free Alabama movement is putting the story right there. As we sitting here talking, you and I was discussing something a few minutes ago, you know, if you get sick and you in this cell and you this close to this man, he gonna get sick also.
It already happened.
You know, if he pass gas in this cell, I'ma smell it. If I pass gas, he gonna smell it. The toilet is right there. You know, the toilet is right here by the bed, so, you know, the door, if when they lock us down, we don't have a way to get out of the door. So if he had to defecate and I'm right there in the bed, then, you know, they got us in here together. And these are the things that we are protesting against, you know. He talked about the health care, how to, you know, facilities are not adequate. Now they charging us for health care. So we got a copay, no paying jobs, and yet people are still dying. You know, you were just talking about a guy, Tammy. Just briefly tell the people what happened to Tammy and about his story.
Yeah, Tammy was a white guy here that I got to know, and he got sick, and you know, one minute he would help everybody get sick. So once Tammy got sick, he go to the infirmary, you know, and they give him the wrong medication. When they give him the wrong medication, his stomach swelled up. They gave him medicine that he was allergic to, even though he let them know he was allergic to it. They crushed it up where he couldn't see it and know what he was giving. So his stomach swelled up. When his stomach swelled up, he knew something was wrong. Tammy go back up there. See Tammy again here in the wheelchair. Very swole, condition not getting better. About a week or two later, he died, passed away. And as far as my cell partner, I'm in the cell with a guy that have seizures. I think it's epilepsy. But now, I'm no doctor. So imagine the doors being locked and my cell partner having a seizure. There's no way, it's not even a button in here, a panic button that I can push to alert the cube to let them know that he had one. So I got to do the best I can
to try to save the man life.
With my minimal knowledge of his condition. So that is a health hazard in its own. And plus, he done pressured them to put him around somebody that know a little bit more, but they refuse to hear his cry.
They don't care.
They don't care. Simple as that.
I wanted to profile just the overall. I'm sitting here looking outside your window. I don't even know what that is. If you could just zoom right up, this is right outside his window.
That's where the rats play.
Okay.
That little cage.
Okay, this is a little cage. You say rats playing, so we're gonna come back and get some video of that. But you can see this just right outside of his window. You know, the ground is out there. We don't know what's going on, but we're gonna come back and get some video.
Everything falls in my window.
Right through the window right here. You know, these cells are underground. Downstairs cells are underground, so you can see how close we are to the ground out here.
That means spiders, lizards,
anything that can get through this window is
what's
going to come in through this window. And he doesn't have a defense against it. There's nothing he can do about it. There's no one he can complain to. You know, and these are the conditions. You can see that there's stuff on the wall that we can't get it off. They're not giving us cleaning supplies, so we don't know what to do about it. But, you know, we're still men, and we know when we're being wrong, and that's what we're trying to address with Free Alabama Movement. You know, we talked about free labor. That's part of our movement. You know, we did an economic study on the kitchen, and we've shown that there's $1 million in labor, free labor, going into that kitchen every year. And when men come out, they don't have nothing to show for it. And, you know, Divine, he's been in the federal prison, and he's going to explain to you that in federal prison, every job is a paying job. You know, you can't rehabilitate a person by making them work for free. There's nothing rehabilitative about that. You encourage criminal behavior. You continue to keep the person oppressed, depressed, and held down because he doesn't have the basic means to take care of himself. But in other institutions throughout the state, they're not doing this. You know, this is not only in Alabama, but it is going on in Alabama, and we want to see some change. So just tell us how the federal system works, because it's easier for you to take care of yourself.
Well, in the federal institution, I was able to say that I was independent. I didn't have to depend on my people on the street. I was given a job there in a place called Unicor. In Unicor, I was making like $3 and some change an hour.
Okay.
Well, in a month, I was bringing in about $415.
Okay.
But now here, they got a job place called the industry. In the industry, these guys might be making $40 a month, doing more work than I was doing in the federal institution, getting paid more. Imagine $40 versus me making $415 for doing less.
Right. Excuse me, I mean, cut y'all. Y'all remember Lamp, the guy we shot the video? He works out there in the industry. He told y'all he's been out there 8 years. He started out at 17 cents an hour, and after 8 years, he's just now up to 50 cents an hour. So we already got that interview. Y'all know the economics on that, and he's sitting here explaining to you that in a federal prison, he's making over $400 a month, so he can buy shoes, he can buy some clothes, he can buy the hygiene, things like that he needs. He doesn't have to be a burden on his family. And if he does have to pay a copay, if he does have to pay $3 for an armband, if he does have to pay $3 for ID, it can come out of his pocket because he's being compensated for his labor. But that's not what's going on inside the Department of Corrections. So finish expounding on that, and even how the kitchen works.
Well, in the kitchen, them guys was making less than us, but more than you would ever dream of making here in the States. Well, in the kitchen, them guys, which where I started off at, they was making a grade 1 pay $150 a month. And just the block cleaners themselves was making that much too. They were up to $75 to $150 a month just cleaning the block, and they do that all day. Them guys were totally against dirt. Totally against dirt. I'm talking about, for them to see dirt is like seeing a rat. I know they love cleaning up and they love getting paid. Here, anybody can clean up when they just feel like it. People just feel like they need to clean up, and that might be 2 or 3 times a week, and that's good. In the feds, this is an everyday continuous thing, and everybody chipped in because everybody wanted to be in a clean environment.
Right. And we lucky here if somebody clean up 3 times a week, and we don't know where they might get the cleaning supplies from because the stuff we getting is so watered down. You know, since you mentioned that, when we get through, I'm gonna go out here and show y'all the microwave. You know, this is just gonna be an impromptu. We're gonna go out there and see what the microwave look like. We got a microwave about this big, about this wide, about this tall, and they want 48 people to use it. You know, this is a household microwave. Yeah, it'll work in a household with 2 or 3 people, but when you put 48 people in and you try to get the uses out of it that you get, it's not gonna work. You know,
the microwave is also a lighter here. I know y'all might think I'm crazy, but here people use ashtray that's full of ashes and
Cigarette
cigarette
ash.
butts, and put it in the microwave and cut it on. We can't find a lighter, and when once something light up in it, then we'll get it out, light a cigarette off of it. What's in the ashtray?
And then
We had to put up a sign saying do not use the microwave
for a lighter.
for a lighter or ashtray.
You got to go and put your food in there behind somebody putting cigarettes in there to get a light. And the reason why we have to do that is because Warden Davenport, he took matches off of the store. You no longer can buy matches. If you buy a pack of Top, you get 40 rolling papers, but he's only allowing you to buy 1 book of matches, which means that you're going to have 20 additional cigarettes that you don't have no way to light them. So that's what made guys put cigarettes in the microwave. You know, it's not because we want to be barbaric, but I mean, what are our options? If you can make some sense out of selling me a pack of cigarettes with 40 rolling papers in it and only giving me 20 matches, then if you can explain that to me, then cool. I'm a non-smoker, but I sympathize with the smokers because I understand what they're going through. This is an addiction. They sell cigarettes on the stove, so they ought to have a right to smoke them. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's inside or outside, that's a different story. But the fact of the matter is, when you don't get them matches, they got to use the microwave. And everybody got to suffer behind that, as if it ain't already bad enough.
Could you explain how our cleaning supplies is watered down? You can basically drink it.
Yeah, I
With
tried.
ice water, like ice water, just put ice on it.
I tried to shoot the video yesterday when they were passing around, but too many police were standing out there. But in the coming days, I'm going to get it. I'm going to show them exactly what we're dealing with. You know, we ain't going to miss nothing. No stone will be left unturned by the time Free Alabama movement gets through. So we're going to get that. We're going to show them exactly what the cleaning supplies is. And, you know, I never know. I might do a demonstration and just throw some ice on it, just to let the people know this how watered down it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just that bad in the Department of Corrections. But I appreciate you sharing. You have anything else you want to share for us before we
I just want to put a little input on this movement. This is a movement about our life. This is a movement about our health. And I just pray that y'all understand where we coming from and don't just look at us like we just throw and play people. We are people in here that have mothers, fathers, grandparents. I'm gonna start there, all the way down to grandchildren. You know, that love us and care for us, and they don't really understand what we're going through. They feel like we can handle it. Sometimes it get bigger than what we can handle, so we need outside help. Because our voice is minimal in here, you know, because we are convicts. We have been convicted. So I just hope that y'all understand this movement is coming from humans and not robots, you know.
All right, that was up. Appreciate it, bro. Free Alabama movement, once again, you know, bringing the story uncut in the raw. That's what time it is. You know, people are tired of living like slaves, in slave-like conditions, slave labor, not being compensated, and don't even know when we're going home. Brother Divine got 20 years. He got a 6-year sentence, but he can't say, when I complete this program, when I get my GED, when I get my skill of trade, I'll be paroled
I
out.
was given a 15-year setup on a 20-year sentence. That means it'll be 15 years before I'll be eligible for parole on a 20-year sentence.
And the key word that he used is eligible for parole. Not when he'll be paroled out. He'll just go up in front of the parole board. And we've already shown y'all how that works. You saw Michael May's story today. He done did 19 years. The last time he went up was in 2010. He don't even have another parole day. So this brother that came to prison, self-educated himself. You know, took the initiative to correct whatever issues he had with inside of himself because he wanted to be a better person. And there's no reward for it. You know, there's no motivation for him to do it because they're not saying if you come to prison and you need a GED, you need a skill of trade, you need life skills, you need anger management, you need criminal thinking, you need TC. They're not saying that if you complete all of these things, then you'll be paroled out. They're saying when you complete all those things, you still got to do 15 years setup before we consider you. So what is the point? What is the purpose? What is the motivation? What is the incentive? You know what I'm saying? And if he don't do anything, he doesn't have to do anything. He can lay in this prison for 5 more years out this parole date, and he automatically go into the street, and the system has failed him. You know, the system, if you do 20 years in prison, and you ain't got to do nothing but lay back and wait on that 20th year, and you know you're going home, and you ain't had no incentive to get out in 10 years by completing a curriculum and doing something to show that you're ready to be productive, then what's the point? You know, you just have a system that don't work. And that's what we're gonna correct. That's what we're trying to fix. Free Alabama movement.
Free Alabama movement.